Hey y'all, it's me, Miss B. Today we're talking about how to take a real root of any number or variable. Okay, so first let's talk about what are radicals. We've seen them a lot before, but now we're going to get a little bit more specific with our definitions. Okay, so here I have a square root. It's a little bit messy, but we can clean it up. So our square root's a little bit, ooh, yikes, that's a thick pen. There's our square root, like that. Okay, so this number on the outside, that n, that is our index. And that number tells us which root to take. So if we have a 2, that's a square root. If we have a 3, that's a cube root. And what that means is how many times does a number get multiplied by itself to equal this number? And this n is the number of times it would be multiplied. Okay, that's this sign here. That's the radical symbol or radical sign. We know that. And then this this right here, this is called the radicand. Okay, and so the radicand is a number or variable or both that's underneath the radical. Okay, so now that we have those definitions out of the way, we're gonna go ahead and move on here. Okay, so every power has a root. So if I have 5 squared, that equals 25. The square root of 25 is also equal to 5. So it undoes the thing. So a square root undoes a square. A cube root undoes a cube. A fourth root undoes a fourth power, and a fifth root undoes a fifth power. Okay, so if there is no symbol on the outside, it's an invisible 2. Which is usually what we are dealing with, and now we're gonna take it up a few notches. Okay, so if n is odd, so that's like your cube root, your fifth root, your seventh root, then there is exactly one root or solution. Remember that root and solution are synonyms. If n is even, so that's your square root, your fourth root, your sixth root, and so on, then there are exactly 2 roots. And those 2 solutions are going to be one positive and one negative. And the reason for that is because I think we get into that later, actually. Okay, so finding real roots. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about how to take these roots here. So it says, what are the real cube roots of 0.008, negative 1,000, and 1 over 27? So let's take the cube root of 0.008, and we can plug that into our calculator. So 0.008, I'm going to use this calculator here. It's a little bit more complicated than what you will see. Oh, come on. I don't want this. Okay, so we're going to do Shift And then, actually, you know what? If I go to math, and then I'm going to go to the fourth one down, that's cube root of 0.008. Enter, and that gives me 0.2. Okay, so on your calculator, it's going to have like an x square root. And so what you'll type in is you'll type in a number. So we'll do this next one here. So to take the cube root of negative 1,000, I'm going to type in my calculator 3, and then that x square root symbol and then it's going to give me a parenthesis. I'm going to put negative 1,000 and close that parenthesis. Okay, so let's take the 3, math, cube root. This does it a little differently than yours will. Of negative 1,000. Hit enter, and it's negative 10. And then the cube root of 1 over 27. Again, cube root of 1 over 27 equals, and I'm going to put that into a fraction, 1/3. Okay, so I have exactly one solution for each of those. All right, so it says take the real fourth root of 1, negative 0.0001, and 16 over 81. Okay, so I'm going to take the fourth root of 1. Now, if you type that in your calculator, you're going to get 1, but we have to put plus or minus 1, and here's why. Because if we do 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 4 times, I get 1. But if I do negative 1 times itself 4 times, I also get a positive 1, because 2 negatives make it a positive. Okay, so that's why I have to put that plus or minus. The fourth root of negative 0.0001, if we type that into our calculator, how do I get out of here? Stuck. So math, come on. I was on alpha lock. And we'll do the fourth root of negative 1, what was it, 0.0001. I think there are 3 zeros. Yeah. Hit enter, and I get a non-real answer. It says error, non-real answer. So that is what we're going to put, non-real root. We can't take the square root of a fraction, or we can't take the square root of a negative number. Okay, and so then we'll take the fourth root of 16 over 81. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do this. We're going to take the fourth root of 16 and also the fourth root of 81. So we split those two things up. So the fourth root of 16, I'll tell you, is 2. And the fourth root of 81 is 3, because if I multiply 3 to the fourth, it's 81. And we just have to remember our plus or minus. So those are the solutions for that set. Okay, want you to go ahead and do these on your own, and we will come back to them later. All right, next up, it says to simplify radicals, we're going to find a perfect square that's a factor of the radicand. That's important, factor of the radicand, which means it needs to multiply. And then we're going to take the square root and move it to the outside. Okay, so pause, write those down. All right, with exponents, we want to divide the exponent by the index, and then the value is the exponent on the outside, and the remainder is the exponent on the inside. So we're mixing these two ideas together. Okay, so this is the index, and this is the exponent. All right, so we're gonna do our square root of 32. So this is where we're gonna use the perfect square method. Okay, so I'm gonna take, so I know that 16 times 32 is a thing. So I'm gonna do square root of 16 times 2 because 16 times 2 equals 32. Then I'm gonna split it into 2. So I'm gonna take square root of 16 times the square root of 2. Square root of 16 is 4. Square root of 2, nothing. So we're just gonna leave it like that to find our exact answer. So that right there is our solution. All right, next up. Square root of 16 x squared to the 8th. So I'm going to split this into two things. I'm going to say square root of 16 times the square root of x to the 8th. Now this is an invisible 2 out here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 8 divided by 2, dividing the exponent by the index. So 8 divided by 2 is 4. So that's going to go outside. So I get x to the 4th for that one there, and then the square root of 16 is 4. So 4x to the 4th is my final answer. All right, this next one here, I'm going to take each of these. So for my a, I'm going to take this 6 and divide it by the 3. And so I get a to the 2nd, because 6 divided by 3 is 2. Then I take that 9 and divide it by 3 and get 3. So I get b to the 3rd. So that right there is my final answer. Then finally, for this last one, I've got x to the 8th, y to the 12th. 8 divided by 4 is 2, and 12 divided by 4 is 3. All right, I believe that is all for today, folks.